Today, I'm going to talk about the difference between cinematography and videography. When you watch a film, every image you see is carefully planned in pre-production and executed during production. The person in charge of the actual image is usually called a director of photography, or DP. Director of photography is the person's position on set and what they're credited as in the film. The art form of shaping an image for film is called cinematography. So for someone to hold the position of DP, they must first have experience as a cinematographer. The work that goes into cinematography is often underappreciated by the general moviegoer. Creating shots that not only convey the story clearly, but are also creative and aesthetically pleasing to the viewer's eye can be much more difficult than it would initially seem. It's not just about pointing a camera at the actors and letting them do whatever they want. It requires the careful lighting of a scene, blocking the camera, which means determining the position of the camera relative to the actors, selecting the best lens and focal length, and various other factors depending on the complexity of the setup. This process is repeated for every individual shot in a film, of which there can be hundreds. Videography, on the other hand, is the process of filming something that is already happening. Live events are shot by videographers. Weddings, in particular, are a good example of videography. The subjects aren't actors, they're real people. Every shot is set up on the fly, requiring the camera operator to work around whatever is in front of them. There's typically a general schedule of things that will happen in a videography shoot, and the videographer's job is to ensure the footage of those specific things is recorded. For example, the first kiss at a wedding ceremony, or the cake being cut at the reception. Videography is about capturing and saving those moments on film. But there are challenges associated with videography, primarily in the form of the Hawthorne Effect. The Hawthorne Effect is, to put it simply, the effect direct observation has on human behavior. Have you ever noticed it when someone cheeses it up for the camera? That's the Hawthorne Effect in action. It is because of this that videographers must adjust their workflow in the form of cinema verite. Cinema verite is the act of filming real life invisibly as to not influence the behavior of one subject. The core concepts of videography and cinematography are similar. They both require the same basic set of skills: knowing how to expose and compose shots correctly, how to read the lighting of the scene, and creating an image that displays the subject clearly. However, apart from that, the two are worlds apart. A cinematographer creates the image and scene from scratch. During the pre-production process of a film, they carefully plan all the details of every single shot that the film needs. A videographer creates the image by taking a scene that already exists and finds their shots as they go, with a general guideline of which shots are needed based on what kind of event they're shooting. Each one has its purpose and presents its own unique challenges. Cinematography requires a much more rigorous setup process, carefully thinking through each step. The main focus of cinematography, after all, is to enhance and support the story. Videography requires thinking on your feet, finding shots as you go, and making sure to be unobtrusive. After all, you are working around what the subjects are already doing. Its focus is to capture the story that unfolds before you. Videographers tend to always operate the camera themselves on the projects they shoot. Cinematographers, however, usually have a choice whether they want to operate the camera themselves or have a dedicated camera operator. When a DP chooses to work with a camera operator, they will be responsible for supervising and giving detailed instruction to the camera operator. If a film is shot using a multiple camera setup or has a second unit to shoot separate scenes simultaneously, a separate camera operator will always be required. There are, of course, projects that blur the line between videography and cinematography, such as documentaries. Their goal is to tell a cohesive story by stringing together shots in a way that makes sense. But because they're shot as the story is actually happening, the camera operator must set up and get shots on the move. In general, those who shoot documentaries are credited as cinematographers or directors of photography. If you have any questions, please leave them in a comment below. I'm Rutherford with Parthian Enterprises. Thanks for watching.